Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most iconic and historically significant coins in United States history, the Kennedy half dollar, a coin that is not just money but also a piece of American heritage tied deeply to a pivotal moment in history. And as we explore this coin, I will share its origin, design, metal composition, varieties, errors, auction records, values, and everything collectors need to know. So let's begin with the story of how the Kennedy half dollar came into existence. This coin was first struck in 1964, less than 4 months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963 in Dallas, Texas, and it was introduced as a way to honor his memory and legacy, replacing the Franklin half-dollar design that had only been in circulation since 1948. The speed at which this coin was designed, approved, and released was unprecedented in U.S. numismatic history. The public sentiment for Kennedy was so strong that the mint rushed the process, and by March 1964, the new Kennedy half-dollar was already in circulation, designed by Gilroy Roberts for the obverse, who created the striking portrait of John F. Kennedy, and Frank Gasparro for the reverse, which features the presidential seal with an eagle holding arrows and an olive branch surrounded by stars. This design became instantly recognizable and admired. Now talking about the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar specifically, it was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing 12.5 grams with a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, which was the same standard as previous silver half-dollars, and more than 273 million of these coins were minted in 1964 at both Philadelphia and Denver mints. But despite this high mintage, the majority of these coins quickly disappeared from circulation because people hoarded them as both a tribute to Kennedy and for their silver value, and this hoarding trend continued for years, as the mint reduced the silver content of circulating coinage starting in 1965. Kennedy halves from 1965 to 1970 contained 40% silver, with 1971 onwards being composed of copper-nickel clad, so if you come across a 1964 Kennedy half-dollar, you know it is 90% silver and always worth more than face value. Now let's move into some of the rare varieties and error coins that make Kennedy half-dollars highly collectible. One of the most famous is the 1964 accented hair variety, found in proof coins, which features a stronger detail in Kennedy's hair above his ear. This version was reportedly disliked by Jacqueline Kennedy, who requested it be softened, making the accented hair proof one of the scarcest Kennedy halves, with fewer than 5% of 1,964 proof sets containing it. Another interesting variety is the 1964 SMS, Special Mint Set, Kennedy half-dollar, which was not officially released but believed to have been struck in very limited numbers for testing purposes. Perhaps fewer than a dozen exist. And one of these coins sold at auction for over $100,000, making it one of the most valuable Kennedy half-dollars ever. Then we have the 1970 D Kennedy half-dollar, which was only released in mint sets and never struck for circulation, making it a key date for collectors, especially in high grades. Moving forward, another valuable issue is the 1998 S Matte Proof Kennedy half-dollar, part of a special collector set paired with a silver dollar. This coin has a unique matte finish and is among the lowest mintage modern coins. Now let's highlight some error coins that make headlines. Double dies, off-center strikes, and missing clad layers on Kennedy halves can command huge premiums depending on rarity and condition. The 1974 D double die obverse is especially sought after, where the doubling is visible on In God We Trust. Another famous one is the 1966 SMS with cameo and deep cameo contrasts, which bring big prices, and collectors always search proof issues from the 1960s for frosted cameos. Now let's talk about values and record prices. Common 1964 Kennedy halves in average circulated condition are worth around $10 to $12 today due to their silver content, but higher-grade uncirculated coins can fetch much more, especially MS67 and above, which can bring hundreds of dollars. The 1964 accented hair proof in PR69 Deep Cameo sold for over $40,000 at auction. The 1964 SMS Kennedy half-dollar, as I mentioned earlier, sold for more than $100,000, and other rare proofs and varieties have sold in the tens of thousands of dollars. For example, the 1970 D in MS67 can sell for more than $1,000, and the 1998 S matte proof can easily command $500 or more. So as you can see, Kennedy halves may seem common at first glance, but when you know what to look for, they can be worth a fortune, historically. These coins also represent a fascinating transition in U.S. coinage, as the 1964 issue was the last circulating half-dollar with 90% silver. The 1965 to 1970 issues contained 40% silver, and after 1971, all circulating halves were clad, which marked the end of silver in daily use coinage. The Kennedy half-dollar also struggled in circulation because people hoarded them, and over time, fewer and fewer half-dollars were used in commerce, by the 1980s and 1990s, the coin was rarely seen in daily transactions. And the mint even reduced production because demand dropped so low. However, Kennedy halves have always remained popular with collectors, with special issues produced for proof and mint sets every year, and collectors love the coin's connection to history and the chance of finding valuable varieties. The size and bold design also make it appealing to numismatists. Now let's touch on the cultural significance of the coin. The Kennedy half-dollar stands as a reminder of a president who inspired a generation, and owning one is like holding a piece of the 1960s in your hand, which is why demand has never faded, even among younger collectors. So whether you are searching through rolls, attending coin shows, or buying from auctions, Kennedy half-dollars offer something for everyone, from affordable silver bullion value to six-figure rarities. Now let's summarize the key points. The Kennedy half-dollar began in 1964 as a memorial coin for John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts and Frank Gasparo. Minted first in 90% silver and later in 40% silver, with special issues and varieties like the 1964 Accented Hair, 1964 SMS, 1970 D, 1998 S Matte Proof, and valuable double dies. With record auction prices exceeding $100,000, its popularity has remained strong for decades, making it one of the most collected coins in American history. So if you're looking to start coin collecting or expand your collection, the Kennedy half-dollar is an essential series to study, search for varieties, and treasure, because its blend of historical importance, silver content, and collectible value makes it truly timeless. In part 2 of our deep journey into the fascinating story of the Kennedy half-dollar, let's go even deeper into the layers of rarity, values, and collector demand that have made this coin one of the most desirable in U.S. numismatics. Because while part 1 gave us the foundation of history, design, and famous varieties, this second part is where we highlight the excitement of coin hunting, the dramatic prices seen at auctions, and the way the Kennedy half continues to capture imaginations worldwide, starting with the enduring popularity of the 1964 issue, which despite its massive mintage has remained the cornerstone of the series. The sheer fact that so many were hoarded immediately after release means uncirculated examples exist in high numbers, but truly pristine coins with exceptional eye appeal in grades like MS67 or higher are extremely rare. And that rarity translates into auction premiums, with some of the finest 1964 D coins bringing several $1,000s, especially with strong luster and strike. Then there is the proof coinage of 1964, which gave birth to the legendary accented hair variety, one of the most famous design quirks in modern U.S. coinage. Its story is fascinating not only because it is a variety but because of the human element, with Jacqueline Kennedy herself reportedly requesting a change to soften the hair detail, giving the coin a personal link to the Kennedy family. Today these coins can sell for tens of thousands in the highest grades, particularly in deep cameo contrast, which collectors covet. The other holy grail of the series is the 1964 Special Mint Set Kennedy half-dollar, likely struck under experimental conditions, with fewer than 20 known to exist, and when one appears at auction, collectors battle fiercely, with a record price crossing $100,000, showing that modern coinage can compete with the rarest 19th-century pieces in terms of value. Moving to another key moment in the series, we find the 1970 D Kennedy half-dollar, released only in mint sets and never for circulation, making it the lowest mintage business strike of the series at under $3 million, and in gem condition, it is a must-have for every serious Kennedy collector, with top-graded examples selling for thousands. Then in the 1990s, the mint surprised collectors with special issues like the 1998 S Matte Proof, struck in 90% silver with a beautiful textured surface, limited to fewer than 62,000 pieces, making it scarcer than many 19th century coins. Today this issue can sell for hundreds of dollars and is one of the highlights of the modern era. Beyond the famous dates, Kennedy halves are also popular for error and variety collectors, with double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and missing clad layer errors creating exciting finds. The 1974 D double die obverse is especially valuable, where the words, "In God We Trust," show clear doubling, and high-grade examples can bring thousands. In addition, proof coins from the 1960s and 1970s with deep cameo frosting are in constant demand, because these early proofs were not produced with the same modern technology and cameo contrasts are scarce, making them highly prized. The Kennedy half-dollar series also reflects the evolution of U.S. coinage, with transitions from 90% silver to 40% silver and eventually to copper-nickel clad, marking the end of an era when silver was used in everyday money. This makes the early years of the series particularly appealing to collectors who love silver content, with bullion value forming a solid base for prices, but numismatic premiums pushing them far higher. One cannot underestimate the emotional pull of the Kennedy half-dollar either, because it is not just a coin but a tribute to a fallen president, and for many Americans, Owning one of these coins feels like holding onto a piece of national memory. This emotional connection has helped keep demand strong for decades, even when half dollars disappeared from circulation. Today the Mint continues to produce Kennedy halves primarily for collectors, with special silver issues each year, and while they no longer circulate in daily commerce, they remain one of the most collected modern series. Auction houses regularly feature Kennedy halves in their sales, and collectors are willing to pay astonishing amounts for top-graded or rare varieties, with six-figure results proving the continued strength of this market. For new collectors, the Kennedy half dollar offers a wonderful balance of affordability and challenge, because while you can start with a few silver pieces bought near bullion value, building a complete high-grade set with varieties is a true lifelong project, and that's part of the magic of coin collecting, the hunt for hidden treasures. So if you are searching through rolls from the bank, browsing dealer inventories, or attending major auctions, keep your eye out for these key dates and varieties, because they could be worth far more than you expect. The Kennedy half dollar is not just another coin in the U.S. series, it is an icon of American history, design, and collecting, offering everything from common silver bullion pieces to once-in-a-lifetime rarities, and that is why it continues to inspire collectors around the world, truly living up to its legacy as one of the most beloved coins ever struck in the United States. Thanks for watching.